Okay. Good morning, good day to everyone who's joined us today. Today I'll be your host and presenter. Today's topic is adding rocket fuel to your CDP investments and how Reltio helps power a true customer 360 for helping businesses. My name is Sriraj. I am a director of product here at Reltio, and I'm based in Seattle. My primary focus is enabling customer 360 solutions for our customers. Before we get started, a couple of housekeeping things. Let me just go into that. This meeting is being recorded and will be posted to Reltio community. I request that you keep yourselves on mute during the presentation. If you need to ask questions, please use the raise your hand feature during the Q&A section, but please do keep yourselves muted until the Q&A portion begins. You can also feel free to add questions in the chat. The chat is open for everyone. And if you don't get your questions during the allotted time, we will send a follow-up email with response to those questions. With that being said, I do have a slide that my legal team requires me to present, keep my lawyers happy. Some of the contents in this presentation may be forward-looking, and so we request that you make your evaluations based on features that are already GA. Okay, so let's get into the core topic of discussion today. So I think many of you may have seen some representation of this slide here, which is the original data problem. A lot of enterprises today have legacy applications. They consume data from various third-party data sources or external sources and feed them into existing analytics, business workflows, and integrations that are required. This results in a spaghetti of sorts from a data perspective and leads to what we call as data debt. This is resulting in fragmented data and incomplete systems of record, as many of you have seen. And to solve this, what we've traditionally advocated within Reltio and are very successful at doing so for many of our customers is creating a central repository or a data store, which is using data graph technology to create a single view of your core entities, whether it is customer, supplier, product, any of those. It also helps create a knowledge graph of their relationships, their attributes, any other related information. And this then feeds into, feeds a clean, trusted data into your analytics workflow, as well as in recent times your agentic AI applications. So this has become the trusted data store for many of our customers. Building on that, so this is the evolution of where we see this data set going. So, on the left side is what we call as the creation of the golden record, where you understand who the customer is or understand who the supplier is. Basically, you have an understanding of the identity of an entity, whatever attributes make up the identity of that entity. When you compound that identity with behavioral information or other interactions, relationships, and unstructured content, you can create what we call as the multimodal trusted profile. Traditionally, MDM has helped solve the circle on the very left side, the golden record. But as we evolve the product, we are going into creating this multimodal trusted profile by combining not just identity, but all associated information. And then when you combine that with what we call as the intelligent data graph, that is helping link all of this through a graph system, along with interactions and along with other unstructured information, we can create this intelligent 360, which helps AI applications, which helps business applications navigate not just the entity itself, but all associated aspects of the entity to put that for use for business. And we'll get into some more details of how that can be practically applied in future slides. So, representing all of that on a slide that some of you may be familiar with, which is on the left side, we have data sources from where data is ingested. If there is first party, that means it's within your enterprise, or third party, which means it's external to your enterprise and you purchase or have an agreement to procure these data sources. And then you create the unique entity, regardless of what it is. It could be customer, supplier, product. And then you have attributes that make up the identity. In this case, it's, for example, email, phone number, name, so on and so forth. You have third-party source attributes that give you more specifics about the identity or specific information about certain attributes of that entity. For example, revenue is not part of identity, but it's a core attribute that could be used in certain business functions to segment customers or so on and so forth. Then you have interactions and transactions. These are, for examples, has this customer opened the last marketing email we sent them, or what kind of orders have they placed, or what purchases have they made in the past, so on and so forth. And last but not least, you have derived insights like, hey, what is their propensity to churn? What is their lifetime value? So on and so forth. So you can create all of these you know perspectives about the entity itself from various sources, and then you feed that trusted, when you unify it, you match it, and then you can segment it and mobilize that data towards downstream systems, whether it is your digital applications, your AI ML applications. We're seeing a lot of that today, as well as your cloud data warehouses and data lakes. Finally, feeding into any of the business use cases that you may always have. It could be from compliance to sales, service, marketing. Any of those could be your end business applications and consumers of this trusted, unified, and segmented data. So if we look at the components that go into building the Reltio's Intelligent 360 solution, this is on the top, and this is not comprehensive, but I've included some of the major components, that I want to call out. On the very left side, we have the ingestion layer, where, like I said, you can consume first-party data sources or third-party data sources. You can use batch ingestion, APIs, web file hooks. These are already there in place today. Uh, One of Reltio's biggest differentiator is its robust ID resolution engine. We have capabilities for both rules-based matching as well as AI ML matching through our Fern technology. Then the ability to create profiles, or unique profiles that are trusted, can be consumed by downstream business applications, and also link them with other elements that are required. For example, who's the individual at a certain location, which individuals are in a household, and what kind of interactions are they doing collectively or individually. Then you move into segmentation and audience building, where we have the capability to do both rule-based segmentation, dynamic audience building, which is, the system automatically monitors for certain signals in the audience and then recategorizes them into segments, um, as well as the ability to do calculated and derived insights. Last but not least is the ability to do privacy and governance, which means consent management, which modes of communication is allowed for communicating with this particular customer or supplier, who is allowed to see the data in terms of data masking, as well as role-based access control and audit logs. All of these components put together build up Reltio's Intelligent 360 that not only gives you that trusted identity, but also all the associated information about that entity so that you can then action on that from a business perspective. So the topic of today's conversation is adding rocket fuel to CDPs with Reltio's Intelligent 360. So to do that, let's understand what are the challenges of standalone CDP deployments. CDPs, if on the top, I have illustrated some common business functions that you'll find in most organizations. You have sales, you have service, marketing, supply chain, HR, and finance. And there's more, obviously, but I've illustrated some of these. CDPs have primarily evolved from the need of marketers, like, hey, I want to run a campaign, I want to run an email campaign, or I want to run a web campaign. So that's where the genesis of CDP, most CDP applications are. They were born to solve the needs of a marketer. Over course of time, they have started shifting left or shifting right, trying to branch into other areas, but their core foundational platform was from the marketer's perspective. What does that mean? It means that they have limited scope to handle entities outside of customer. Since they were designed from a marketing perspective, their primary focus entity was the customer or consumer, and other entities have minimal support or no support at all. They weren't designed to be a data governance platform or weren't designed for data management in general. So they lack some of those capabilities which are required to create that trusted data set within the organization. Their identity resolution systems are also generally very rudimentary or weak. And that's because if you look at it from the perspective of a marketer, the lack of a unified profile results in what? Maximum a junk email or a junk mail. It's not a big deal. It's not a big impact. But if you propagate that to sales use cases or service use cases, then understanding the identity of the customer becomes very, very important. And this is where, you need more robust identity resolution engines in order to reach the same impact. The same thing can be also said about marketing use cases today is that the more as we go into the shift of personalization and personalized content, the more you're able to understand the not just the customer but also their behaviors and interactions, then the more personalized content you can create and deliver to them, which means the more impactful your message is going to be, resulting in pipeline or lead generation. So this is where traditional CDPs are playing catch up, and don't have a robust unification engine. They also lack support for enhanced aggregation or householding. For example, most CDPs treat consumers or customers as individual entities. What that means is Sriraj is just a customer. They are not designed to understand my household. So they don't understand that I have a wife, I have 3 kids, and so there's this whole household that I'm part of. So and they don't have the ability to link customers together in a household fashion because they were not designed for that. So that means the messaging that you deliver to me is always me as an individual, but not me as a household. And we actually have an example to illustrate where this can make a big difference for you. So standalone CDP deployments are good for marketing focus needs or simpler marketing focus needs, but as you go into larger cross-functional needs, CDPs would benefit from the leverage of a trusted data set that can be governed and managed at enterprise scale. This does not mean that you need to throw away your CDP investments. It just means that you need to augment your CDP investments with a trusted data source so that the CDPs can function better. They still do what they were designed to do pretty well, which is sending out emails, running the campaign, tracking the interactions on that campaign and such. But they still would benefit significantly from the leverage of a trusted data source. So let's talk about how Reltio's Intelligent 360 solution helps CDP investments. So keep in mind that Reltio's Intelligent 360 solution, as I illustrated in one of those initial slides, comprises of the golden record, which is the core identity. Our MDM platform has been solving that, is the leader in solving that, as well as that multimodal profile, which combines the identity with all the associated interactions, derived attributes, third-party data sources, and the relationships between all of this, creating that full intelligent data graph. So when you look at it, Reltio helps create that trusted profile. So when you look at data sources from where you're uh, getting information about your customers or your consumers, there are certain data sources that you have higher quality information, which can just be unified using rule-based matching. There are certain data sources which are of lower quality, like marketing interactions, email clicks or web interactions, social media interactions. These are of little lesser quality in the sense that the identity is not completely clear. In the higher quality, these are from your existing enterprise sources. You know the identity of the customer. You have a primary key that identifies them. These are from survey responses, so they volunteered their identity in some form or fashion, or chats and call log transcripts. On the lower quality, it's from slightly fuzzier data, and this is where our AI ML based unification comes into play, which can handle some of these lower quality data sets. And then you have the lowest qualities, sometimes anonymous interactions. They're browsing the web, or they've given very partial data, or you're procuring these mass volume data sets from somewhere. And this is where Reltio's referential unification can come into play, where we augment existing data sets with third-party data sets and create a higher probability of unifying that record. So when you combine all these three techniques, we are able to actually identify who that end entity is, whether it's a customer or a supplier, and not only just identify them, we can group them and say, okay, they belong to, these contacts, for example, all these individuals belong to the same organization, or these individuals belong to the same household. So we're able to group them. That allows you to create this best in class profile, a composite view of interactions, not just at the individual level, but also at the group level and even at the individual level across different data sources of differing quality. We can then create aggregated metrics and scores, as well as accurate derived and calculated insights. Now, imagine in the traditional CDP platform, if you are only using the highest quality data sets, you're missing out on all the scores and the insights that would be derived if you couldn't unify data sources from the lower quality data sets as well as the lowest quality. By unifying even those, now you have better insights into who this individual or customer is, and then your insights are even more better. And that even allows you to dynamically segment them even better because now you're picking up signals that would otherwise be lost because you weren't able to unify it properly. To illustrate this better, let's look at a simple example of an insurance process. And actually, I think I might have skipped a slide. Okay, sorry, the slide order is incorrect. Um, so let's assume there's an individual called Lisa Robertson. She is shopping for an insurance policy, and so she goes and browses insurance aggregators. Insurance aggregators are where you can shop. You give your information, and then they just go and collect information from different insurance companies together. She likes one of them, so she clicks on a web advertisement and then generates a auto policy quote, and that's when it hits your CDP, right? So okay, she's generated the auto policy quote, so then it hits your CDP, and from there onwards, you're able to do the segmentation and activation. You're able to understand some insights about Lisa. What is missed is you are unable to see that she has a spouse, Mr. John Robertson, who already has a current homeowner's policy because CDPs don't do householding. You've missed that relationship. So hence, you're missing also the unification from some of these lower quality data sources, such as the insurance aggregator and web advertisements, because the traditional CDP engine can't match from some of these lower quality data sources. So some of those insights are missing. If you had used Reltio Intelligent 360 in between, the scenario is slightly different because now you can use referential as well as our AI ML based unification and integrate these data sets from even these lower quality data sources. And you get a more complete view of her profile, her preferences, her clicks, her interactions. So your policy code is more tailored to that. And because there is householding, you understand that she's part of a household that already has an existing policy. So you're able to offer a discount on this new auto policy and thereby making your business more competitive, right? And then that intelligent 360, the profile that's been created by aggregating all this household information and this interaction information can be fed into the traditional CDP from where you can execute your email campaigns and your web campaigns to actually do that outreach to Lisa Robertson. So this is a nutshell, a presentation of where we're heading with Intelligent 360. And we have a lot of exciting features in development for this year. Some of them have already been made GA, and more of them are coming in future releases. Uh, but I'm happy to take some questions and answers right now. If you would like to have any Q&A, I would request you to come off mute or raise your hand, and then I can unmute you for Q&A. Any Q&A? Let me check the chat, see if there's any Q&A. No? Okay. Okay. Um, Let me also, does it need separate licensing? Okay. Yes. So traditionally, our platform has the MDM. So for customers who just want the golden profile, they would procure the MDM licensing, and then the C360 or the Intelligent 360 features are a upgrade on that licensing. Any other questions? Does it cover all vertical domains? Yes. So for those who may be familiar with our traditional MDM product, we offer what is called as velocity packs. These velocity packs are standardized data models that have been aggregated from our knowledge of doing multiple implementations at multiple customers. So we have velocity packs for life sciences, insurance, banking, healthcare, retail, as well as catch-all segments such as B2B and B2C. So those velocity, similar to those velocity packs, we have similar velocity packs for the Intelligent 360 solution that not only gives you a starter data model for how to store identity, but also how to store. These are the common interaction types you see in this industry. So for example, in the pharmaceutical industry, you may have some product detailing interactions, or you may have some sampling interactions. Similarly, in the healthcare scenario, you may have hospital visit interactions, or e-medicine interactions. So there are certain standardized type of interactions that are given to you as part of the velocity pack. They are included free of charge to all our customers. Any other questions? Okay. Um, just a quick reminder about some other upcoming events similar to these community shows. There's one on 29th July that talks about our AI-powered Fern matching engine. It's one of the key differentiators of our platform, as well as one on 13th August that talks about how to unify Salesforce data with Reltio Integration Hub. So if either of these are interest of you, please do register, and hope to see you on future community shows. But thank you again for joining today, and hope to see you on other shows.
Thank you, Siddharth.
Thank you.
Yes, Sriraj?
Yes.
Yeah, sorry to, this is Nilay, right? Sorry to ask you one basic
No, no
question.
worries. Of course, of
Yeah.
course. Yeah.
So, how does it different from traditional LTO? Because traditional LTO entity 360, right? What we bought in Packer, that can also do householding, that can also store the interactions. So, how
Yeah, yeah.
does it? Yeah,
Sure, sure. Which organization are you with, Nile? Sorry, I didn't
I
get
am
that.
from Packer. Packer is a
Oh,
heavy
Packard.
duty, medium duty truck
Yeah,
manufacturing
yeah. Are you
company
in
based out
Seattle?
of Seattle.
Are you in Seattle?
Unfortunately not. So I am in Ohio right now.
Okay, okay.
Yeah,
I'm in Seattle, so I know Packard very
yeah,
well.
yeah.
So Reltio. So the context of this presentation is, so there's two things, right? One is if you have MDM, it gives
Mm-hmm,
you the ability to do matching, unification, and householding, right?
mm-hmm.
And so that is very critical. So you can feed that unified profile to your CDP, and so then that's a great thing. But what Intelligent 360 offers on top of traditional MDM is the ability to store and link interactions with the profile itself, right? So now I know who Nile is, I know Nile's household, so that is MDM. But linking Nile's identity with all his interactions, these are the websites he's visited, these are the brochures he's downloaded, these are the orders he has placed. That is Intelligent 360. So then when you can combine householding and interactions and then feed it to Intelligent 360, now you can segment better, you can activate better from that CDP.
Okay, so can't we store that in traditional LTO because there I saw there is an interaction tab or something like that there as well, right?
The interaction tab is now only part of Intelligent 360. Like
Okay.
in the oldest version, we had some
Yeah.
interaction stores, but you that
Okay.
would require you to load interactions physically into Reltio. Now with Intelligent 360, we have zero copy data share. So in a company like Packard, which has lots of operational systems, you may be storing your interactions in Snowflake or Databricks, for example. Within Intelligent 360, we have the ability to like access that data without physically transferring it over. So it's zero copy data sharing, right?
Okay.
So we can actually look at your Snowflake data and link it to the identity profile here without having to physically move that over.
Okay. Okay. The main difference is the interactions, storing all
The
this
main
web browser and everything.
Correct. So interactions, the ability to segmentation is another capability that's part of Reltio Intelligent 360. Zero
Mhm.
copy data sharing, right? The ability to do calculated insights. So, what is this customer's lifetime value? What is their net promoter score? All of this is part of Intelligent 360.
Okay. Can we download that PPT or will it be
Yeah,
possible
yeah,
for you
it'll
to
all be
share?
sent to you. It'll be sent to you. The whole recording will be uploaded to Reltio community, so you can see it there.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Of course.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bye bye.